Now, I don't know if I should be blaming TMS or if I should be blaming Takaya, but man, it's 2020. Emotions are at like an all-time high right now, and I don't need these emotions right now. I don't need this, guys. FruBa, you're killing me. Week to week, I'm just like a weeping like mess. Week to week, don't get me wrong. It's still FruBa. It's still funny at times, but man, lately it's been hitting me right in the heart, and it's a lot. Anyway. Welcome everybody to another one of our weekly Fruits Basket discussion videos. Today we're here to talk all about Season 2, Episode 16, Ask Him For Me. But before we get into that, quick reminder, hit that sub button if you haven't done so already. Hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, I'll wait. Okay, I'm gonna assume that you hit it by now. Anyway, let's go ahead and start the video. Okay, so I took a lot of notes for this one. There is a lot of notes for this one. So this might be a longer video. I don't super know, because a lot of the notes sort of like kind of blend together, so we'll see. I don't know how long this video is either going to be super short or super long. I don't know. You probably know because you're watching this in the future, but I certainly don't. Needless to say, the first scene we get is, of course, as has been tradition lately with every show, a cold open, which is, in fairness, a good way to open an episode of a show. Just like sort of drop you into something and you're like, wait, what does this mean? And then you start the episode, you find out what that means. So it starts you off on a surprise, and then you gotta figure out what the hell is going on as you get through the episode. So the cold open here immediately starts on a violin. Now when I see this violin, I'm thinking like, okay. Now, one of the things I've been hearing about Season 2 for a while, there was two things. One was the beach. The beach, it still haunts us. One was the beach, and the other was a lot of people commenting, oh man, I can't wait to see Momiji play the violin. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, and I didn't really feel as though it was a big spoiler that Momiji played the violin. It's just a character trait. So I had always known that Momiji was gonna play the violin at some point, right? But I wasn't sure specifically like what the context of him playing the violin would be. Maybe it was an offhanded thing. In fact, that's kind of what I assumed, just because like playing the violin doesn't seem like as though it would carry the same sort of emotional weight and baggage that so many other things in FruBa does. But how foolish I was to assume something like that. This is Fruits Basket. Everything is designed to make you laugh, punch you in the heart, and then make you laugh again, and make you feel better about it. That's what everything in FruBa is made to do. In fact, I'm sure like everything so far in the show has had like some sort of payoff, you know? Like, I even half expect the friggin' crack in the wall to have a payoff at this point. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we will get there as we go. But needless to say, when I saw the violin, I was like, that's interesting. I wonder, like, if we're gonna see my man play violin. Maybe this episode is gonna have Momiji's violin skills come into play. I wonder how. And then we see a voice say, I'm sorry, Momiji. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. Like, just, can my man Momiji please get a break? I swear, every episode Momiji's in lately, it used to be like, yay, Momiji's here, happy fun times. Now it's like, oh, Momiji, you precious bean, you poor boy. Why is everything so difficult for you? God dang it. And it's just, like, as soon as I hear the words, I'm sorry, Momiji, I'm like, I'm sorry too, man. Like, I'm sorry. My girl Natsuki Take seems to have it out for you. I don't know why. But Momiji been going through some shit lately. I mean, in fairness, he does end the episode pretty happy, so that is a good thing. But my man constantly going through strife these last few weeks. But I will also note that the room design for Momiji's room is pretty ace. Like the fact that it's got like you see the violin, but you also see like stuffed bunnies everywhere. It's a nice touch. I was like, oh, that's cute. I appreciate that. And basically, the conversation we see in the cold open is Momiji and who I assumed, because again, it's been so long that since we had that introduction to Momiji, like Momiji's inner struggle with like his mom forgetting who he was and all that. It had been so long that I had kind of forgotten a lot of the intricacies of this man's backstory. All I remembered was his parent had forgotten him, and I'm pretty sure his dad remembered. And like I was fairly certain his dad remembered him. So when I saw this, I'm like, is that his violin teacher? No, wait, that must be his dad. And because he says, like, I'm not saying you have to quit, but I'm saying, like, maybe find another teacher. And so I was like, oh, like, okay, so that has to be his dad, but what's going on? And he's like, it's Momo started learning violin too, and you're too close. And I feel bad, and a lot of y'all are going to be upset with me for saying this, but when he said, like, Momo is blah, 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 I was like, who? I had totally forgotten who Momo was. I don't know how the hell I forgot that, but I literally wrote, like, who is Momo? Like, in my notes, I was like, who is this? I had literally spaced, because to me, the most traumatic thing was the fact that he was separated from his mother, and she totally forgot who he was. So what I remember was him watching the mom. It totally friggin', like, I totally spaced that he was actually looking after Momo from a distance. And I was like, oh yeah, oh wow. But in fairness, the show is, like, aware that there's dummies like me who may have forgotten who Momo is, so they do have, like, a quick flashback when Toru bumps into her a little bit later in the episode, like, just to be like, oh right, you're Momiji's kid sister. Yeah, I remember you. You also don't remember who Momiji is. Damn, I forgot all about that. So yeah, so I feel slightly less bad, but I do still feel a bit bad for forgetting my girl Momo. Whoops, sorry kid. But that does lead us into the next scene of the episode. So we get the OP, and my God, like, for some reason, like, just the OP this week hit harder, because that, like, home, sweet home, like, that whole thing. Thinking about Momiji specifically, I was like, God, that hurts now. Like, why does the OP suddenly hurt more this week? I don't know, but the OP finishes, we get scene 2, that being Toru at the Soma estate, which, like, that was a shock. I was not expecting to see Toru end up there, of all places. In fairness, too, like, they do establish, like, again, it's a quick, like they do one of those things where it's like, look at this crazy scene. You want to know how we got here? Let's go back. It's, again, to quote Comic Pop, my favorite comic book channel. Anyway, yeah, so Toru is standing in front of the Soma estate, and I'm having a panic attack just seeing that, right? Because I'm like, this is not where my girl should be right now. Oh, God, like, please no. And I'm thinking, like, how, Toru, what could have possessed you to be here of all places? And thankfully, we do go back and we find out why. And why is because back at school, Uo confirms that she actually quit all of her former part-time jobs and actually got a few others at some different places. Like, so she left the convenience store and ended up working at a family restaurant. Which, like, in fairness, like, that's fine. Like, at first I'm thinking, like, whatever. Like, if anything, being a waitress probably, like, Uo might be better at being a waitress than a convenience store clerk. Like, maybe that's better for her. I don't know. Because I'm thinking she left because she just feels more comfortable at the restaurant, right? So I'm like, maybe that's why she left. Good for her if she made that decision. That is not why she left. Why she left is actually a little bit more heartbreaking. She left because she couldn't wait for Kureno anymore. And that in particular just crushed me. Like, this idea that Uo states that, like, every time she heard the convenience store doors open, she'd get excited and look up and just see another customer and be disappointed because it wasn't Kureno. And God damn, that hurt me. Because again, the age difference is a thing, I will give you that. But admit that it is a little bit adorable. Not even a little bit, really adorable. Like how Uo was just patiently waiting, but it's also sort of heartbreaking because it's like, damn, like she's been waiting for this dude all this time and he hasn't shown up, and it's almost, at this point, it's like been so long that like there would be some like, where the hell were you? Like a little bit of that when they reunite. Now, here's the thing, right? And this has been a long time coming, but Uo says like, oh, I didn't tell you? Like, I did learn his name the other day. And Hana and Toru were like, well, oh, really? What is it? And she says, Kureno. And immediately Toru's like, Kureno Soma? And right away Uo's like, wait, you know him? Like, it just like shakes Toru in a way I haven't seen Uo grab Toru. Like, just the way she shakes her, like, do you know him? Explain yourself. Like, just like, whoa. And Toru's like, hey, easy. Like, I don't know for sure. But I did meet a Kureno when we were at the summer house. So it could be the same Kureno. Do you want me to find out? And Uo suddenly gets like really nervous, and I'm gonna admit, like, seeing my tough girl get shy like that was quite surprising. But Uo says like, nah, you know what? It's probably not the same Kureno. And right away Toru's like, what do you mean? Like, at least try. What do you mean it's probably not the same Kureno? You have to try. But Uo's not having it. She, to me, what I'm gathering from that scene of her being like, nah, it's cool, don't even worry about it, is Uo is scared. I think she's scared of the idea that Kureno has been avoiding her and she doesn't want to confront that. Or just the idea of facing him again after spending so much time apart might be scary. And so she's shy to confront this man. And so now, because it's been so long, Kureno and Uo, it's just like they both know there's gonna be some awkward tension when they meet up, so they've been putting it off. Maybe like not quite intentionally on Uo's end, but now that she has this chance to find him, suddenly she's doing the same thing that he's doing, where it's she's too scared to meet him, whereas Kureno obviously has a crap ton of baggage. And like later we do hear Toru say like, is it the Zodiac thing? He's like, no, it's not that. I mean, it's partly that, but it's not entirely that. But it's literally just these two have spent too much time apart now. So I do get why Uo is clearly nervous about confirming whether or not it is her Kureno. And I love that I get to say her Kureno because that shit's adorable. But this leads to Toru asking Kyo if Kyo knows any info on Kureno, if he can maybe get Toru to meet up with Kureno in some way. And Kyo basically explains, like, honestly, Toru, like, most of us don't talk to Kureno. He is Akito's assistant, but he's sort of, like, barred from talking to most of the other Zodiacs, if not all of the other Zodiacs. It's rare that we see him at all. And Kyo says, like, I think he talked to me, like, once or twice. Like, it's not a frequent thing. And he also mentions that, like, she shouldn't butt into Uotani's problems. But, of course, like, Toru's, like, nonsense. Like, it's my friend, and I'm gonna get involved if I can. Toru does the same thing that I do, where I'm like, I'm fine with other people, like, saying shit about me, you know, and I'm fine with problems happening to me. I'm like, all right, I guess this is happening now. But, like, if it's something to do with my friends, I'm like, I will find every way that I can to get you out of this situation. Or if somebody's talking trash, I'm like, I will literally hunt them down. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, no. Toru is so protective of her friends and is willing to do anything it takes to help her friends out. Again, like the story that they tell of like the girl who gives up everything to these people and they're ungrateful, but she's happy at the end of the day because she made them feel better. That is so Toru. That little folk tale is 100% Toru. And it's so evident here where, like, she's willing to risk bumping into friggin' Akito! And Akito's the worst! So the fact that Toru is willing to bump into Akito just for the sake of getting Kureno to maybe talk to Uo, it's like, goddamn, Toru is absolutely best girl. Like, Toru is just the absolute best. Everybody should be more like Toru. If everybody was like Toru, the world would be a significantly better place. And keep in mind too, this isn't easy. Like, Toru has a hard time getting to getting to a point where she works up enough of the nerve to even try to get into the Soma estate, even though the doors are closed. And what she's supposed to say, hi, it's Toru Honda, I just came to meddle with your affairs again. Like, that's probably not gonna work out quite well. So Toru is trying her best to be like, okay, well, maybe I'll just take a walk around the estate, work up the nerves, and then I'll try to figure something out. And as she's walking, she gets distracted by the sound of a violin, which leads nicely into Toru meeting Momo. Now, mind you, this meeting is a wee bit awkward as Toru accidentally bumps into the poor kid. And that had to hurt, because this kid literally falls, like, on her side, like, almost face first. And I'm like, Jesus, Toru, how fast were you walking? But yeah, in fairness, it's Toru. Girls are klutz. But yeah, so she bumps into Toru, and she remembers who Momo is, which I was like, thank God, because I didn't. This was when I remembered who Momo was. Because I was like, I have no idea who Momo is, like, from the opening scene. So when Toru bumps into her, and Momo's like, oh, no, it's all good. Don't worry about it. And right away, Toru's like, oh, I know you. You're Momo. Like, yeah. Like, I mean, she doesn't say it like that, but like, she's like, in her head, she's like, you're Momo. That's Momiji's sister. Oh shit, she doesn't remember him. That's not good. What do I do? Right? Poor Toru's just like, this Soma cursed nonsense. I don't know what to say or do. Like, because she just wants everybody to be happy, goddammit. But, yeah, so she bumps into Momo and again explains who Momo is. And that's the moment where I was like, oh, friggin' whoops. I don't know how I forgot who Momo was. I feel bad. Momo forgot who Momiji was. I forgot who Momo was. Apologies. But yeah, and again, good stuff. I appreciate the fact that that the director threw that scene in there. Ibata properly showing us like, hey, don't forget who this is. And I'm like, thank you, Ibata-san. I appreciate that. But yeah, here's the interesting part of this, right? So Momo, which I'm a little flustered because I would occasionally call Momiji Momo, so now I can't do that. So I gotta have I don't really need a nickname for Momiji, but there goes my nickname for him. But Momo, when talking to Toru, refers to Momiji as Big Brother. And I'm thinking, Nani? Because, she shouldn't remember who he is. So now I'm all flustered. And Toru even says, that's really weird. She shouldn't remember who he is. Maybe she does? Strange, until we find out later, no, she doesn't. But Toru's sort of having that inner debate. But Momo, being incredibly sharp for a kid her age, is like, oh, that violin, that's Momiji. That's Big Bro Momiji. Do you want to meet him? I could take you there. And so she literally grabs Toru. Well, not grabs Toru, but whisks Toru away. It's saying this way, this way. And so they actually sneak around to the back entrance and then behind some shrubbery. And there's a wall a hole in the wall. And this is what I meant earlier where I said that FruBa has an explanation for friggin' everything. You wanna know why? Because Taki is a good damn storyteller. So I'm thinking is there also gonna be a story about how that wall that hole in the wall ended up there? Cause that seems like a pretty bad accident to just have a big gaping hole in the middle of the Soma estate that anybody could just sort of saunter through. I don't know if there is going to be a story explanation for that. If not, convenient, but I don't really care because it gets the story moving. And I mean, the Soma estate's pretty old. I can imagine that there's some cracks in certain areas, so whatever, I'll buy it. But if there is a story explanation, I'm excited to see it. If not, no big deal. But again, very intelligent of this kid to be to know that Toru is clearly looking for Momiji, and to whisk her away and actually show her this hidden entrance to the estate. So cool. And I expect now that Toru knows that there's that secret entrance, that's gonna come back at some point. I don't know when, but I have a feeling if there's gonna be a jailbreak scene, if we're gonna have a getaway moment from the estate, Toru knows a sneaky entrance / exit into the estate. So kind of neat, honestly. But yeah, Momo shows her way through the estate, through the secret entryway into the estate, and explains how she knows Momiji. And it's not that she remembers who Momiji is. It's that she remembers, she's heard him before and is vaguely aware of him, and notes how much Momiji looks like her mom. And so she thought she would tell her mom that hey, Momiji looks just like you. Maybe I can have a big brother, because she feels that empty part, right? That she wants a big brother. And so she's been keeping an eye on Momiji from a distance in the same way that Momiji was keeping an eye on her. And it's god damn, once again, it's FruBa, I don't need these emotions right now. Jesus, this is a lot. And she says to Toru, please ask Momiji if he can be my big brother. And as she says that, the violin is reaching a crescendo. And my heart is also reaching a crescendo and about to break apart, just shattering ice. And it's too much. It's too much. It's too much emotions all at once. I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of emotions. This show is, in fact, trying to kill me. But anyway, Momo takes off because she doesn't want Momiji to see her. and Toru visits Momiji. She just sort of taps on the glass window, or like that sort of sliding glass door, because Momiji has one of those into the backyard. And Momiji's like, Toru, like, oh my god, hey, what's going on? Like, he's genuinely like, how did you get here? Like, he's not angry or surprised. He's like he's pleasantly surprised. You know what I mean? It's not that he's like shocked. He's more like, oh hey, like, how did you even get here? That's awesome. Who cares? Like, yay, Toru. And this is something that I don't really get to address that often. But it's something that I've loved since the episode where Momiji's relationship with his mom is explained, where the dynamic between Momiji and Toru is, honest to goodness, one of the best dynamics in the show. And I'm not kidding. Like, their relationship is so genuinely sweet. And it's definitely not romantic. It's this sort of like, I care an intense amount about you, and I know that you care an intense amount about me, but it's not like lovey-dovey, it's not romantic, it's literally just, you are my friend, and I care about you as though you were like a family member. Like, I deeply care about you. And that dynamic that these two share is so good. It's so sweet. I love when these two get like an episode together. It's always good for an emotional breakdown, but it's also good for sort of warming the heart after the breakdown. But yeah, and Toru in this scene too just looks absolutely gutted. And Momiji, like, clearly notices. he definitely notices, but he attempts to sort of brighten the mood, because he's like, Toru, like, what's wrong? Hey, did you know I could play violin? I could play something right now. Like, he's trying to be like, I don't know what's wrong with you, but, like, let's try not to be sad, okay? Like, it's just Momiji just the sweetest dude, just the sweetest boy, trying his best to be. Like, if we could make a new title, not just of best boy, but sweetest boy of the whole friggin' year, I think it would go to Momiji. But, this is where we get into, like, some emotional shit. And, you guys know I like record these right after. This was the moment of the episode where I will not lie to you guys. I cried because it really hurt. It really hurt. I think because it's, like, with characters like Kyo and Yuki, when stuff happens to them, I'll cry sometimes, but usually, like, I'm just, like, kind of a mess. Like, I get the misty eyes where I'm, like, I'm almost crying, but I'm not quite there. Unless it's something big, like the Kyo transforming in front of Toru, or, like, Yuki learning to find his confidence, stuff like that. Like, there's times where I will get very misty-eyed, but any time something happens with Momiji, I get, like, really, really emotional. Which is funny, because if you guys remember, like, way back at, like, the start of season 1 when Momiji was first introduced, I don't know how many of you guys have been around since then, but back then, I had a bad impression of Momiji, and I was like, this is the character that I'm not as fond of. Now, if something bad happens to Momiji, I'm like, I will kill everybody in this room and then myself. Like, just, like, literally, like, the biggest 180. I don't know if it's the biggest 180. I think Hiro, like the way I feel about Hiro might be the biggest 180. Because Hiro's another character that I really didn't like when he was introduced. But now I'm like, if anything happens to Hiro, like, you know what I mean? Like, I will end everybody here. He doesn't understand. He's just a boy. You know what I mean? Like, he's a boy, and I think he might have some slight sociopathic tendencies, but he's just a lad. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel the same way about Momiji, though. Because Momiji, I think it's Momiji in particular. I think it's just the 1-2 punch of what happened during the beach arc to this. Like, we haven't had, like, a fun Momiji episode since then. You know what I mean? Like, because usually we'll have, like, a fun episode with that character to sort of break up the emotions. But we had the Akito scene, and now we're having this. And it's like, God, I just, like, Momiji, my boy, like, you don't deserve what is happening to you. Mind you, this time around, like, it does at least end with Momiji getting, like, a happy moment. So hopefully the next time we see Momiji, it'll be in more of a comedic scene. Because I feel like this boy deserves it. We need a comedic episode, I think. And I don't ask for that often. Like, you guys know me, I prefer the drama, but, like, FruBa is messing me up, man. Like, it is, like, my heart, dude. Like, I'm genuinely, like, my emotions are at, like, an 11 every time FruBa, like, another FruBa episode comes out, because I'm like, what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? I'm nervous. What are you planning? And we haven't even gotten to what it was that got me to cry, and that is Momiji explaining how his dad reluctantly, and keep in mind, it was reluctantly. I'm not defending this fool. I'm just saying that, like, he is reluctant. At least he's attempting to be part of Momiji's life. He's not like Kyo's dad, who just abandons him and like calls him all these shitty names, like every name under the sun. Like, Momiji's dad sucks. Don't get me wrong, he does, and it's uncool what he's doing. And it's a shame that he's not just like embracing his son. But at the same time, like, he's desperately trying to rebuild this dynamic with the woman he loves and his daughter. And he's trying to, like, also keep Momiji close to him, but, like, at a distance. It's weird. It's really weird. I will give the man credit for trying. And he does tell him, like, I don't want you to quit violin. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that maybe you should find a different teacher, because Momo just got the same teacher, and I don't need you guys to be too close, because what if she remembers, blah, blah, blah. It broke me, because it's like, goddamn, like, this puts Momiji in such an awkward friggin' position, and it's like, it sucks. And the fact that he just smiles, he does the Toru thing where, like, he's upset and he's smiling, but you could tell he's upset, and he agrees. Momiji agrees. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I don't want to ruin the happiness that he is building, like, we're in reference to his dad. And it's like, Momiji, you're too good. You're too good for these people. You were too good for these somas. You're too good, Momiji. You're too good of a kid. And then what really, really broke me, this is what got me to cry, was I'm scared that I'll hurt her by seeing her. Now, that might seem weird, because the scene after this is probably what got a lot of other people to cry instead, but that line of, I'm scared that I'll hurt her by seeing her. Why did that get me to cry? Because it's twofold. It's not just Momiji saying that. The fact that you see Uo, you know that's the same goddamn thing that Kureno is going through, and then it connected that is the issue that the Somas have. That they don't want to get close to people because they are afraid they are going to hurt them in the long run. And that made me fucking cry. Because I was like, God damn it. It's not just, like, in that moment, it is Momiji and Kureno. But you know that all of the Somas have felt that exact same thing. That they don't want to get close. They don't want to see people outside of outside of other Somas, because they know if they get close to people, they are going to hurt them. And I think this is part of Shigure's plan. If I might bring my husbando into this, because Shigure's like, that's it! Like, no more of this Soma-only nonsense. I'm pushing you guys out into the outside world. That's probably why he's pushing, like, Hattori and Teach so much, because he's like, this has to stop. I feel like I'm realizing stuff on the mic again. But it's like, it just broke me. Like, it just broke me. And then that paired with the scene that I think got a lot of people to cry, where Toru tells Momiji, like, no, you don't understand. Like, Momo led me here. She's been watching after you while you've been watching after her this whole time. This entire time. You guys think that you can't be seen, like, that you guys can't connect, but you can. And, like, that, I think, is going to break a lot of people, because it's, again, the same thing that echoes Kureno, same thing that echoes Kyo and Toru, same thing that echoes Yuki and Toru, like, same thing that echoes Teach and Hattori, like, all these different connections. Hell, it's just the idea in general that these people with this Soma family curse feel as though that this curse will end up inflicting pain on other people. And in fairness, it's not a stretch. Like, we've seen what happened in Hattori's past. So, of course, maybe Kureno is thinking, like, what if something horrible ends up happening to Uo? I'd never forgive myself. And with Momiji, it's what if something horrible happened to my little sister? I would never forgive myself. And it's like, the fact that they are feeling this, and that Toru is the only one who is like, this is stupid. This is stupid. Just talk to each other. Just use your words. Like, Toru is me in every, like, rom-com where I'm like, just use your words. Just talk to each other. Like, god damn. It's such a good scene. And Momiji saying that, like, his dream is to become a famous violinist so that he can play for his family, not just his dad, but his mom and Momo too, and how he is truly, genuinely happy in that moment, because Toru told him that Momo does still know that he exists, and it was Momo outside, in that like she is at the very least trying to connect. And he says like I'm feeling incredibly happy, and part of that is because somebody is willing to cry that much for me, because Toru just breaks in this moment, like totally breaks down. And Momiji is like there to comfort her and says like, I'm happy that you're like, thank you for feeling that way towards me. Like, I really genuinely appreciate like how much you care. And it's like, damn, like again, the Momiji Toru dynamic, it's too sweet. It's abundantly great. But that does strengthen Toru's resolve to go find Kureno, and Toru explains the situation to Momiji, who in turn tells her where to find Kureno. But when Momiji says like, I'll go with you, right away Toru's like, absolutely not. Nope. Because if I bump into Akito, I'd rather it just be me. Because if it's you, Lord knows what that psychopath is going to do to you. Hell no. No, if it's just me, it's safer. So Momiji makes her a map and sort of like sends Toru on her way. And you can tell Momiji's not thrilled about it, you know what I mean? But Toru goes off and it becomes Metal Gear Toru, as basically she's like sneaking around through bushes. The only thing missing is Toru hiding in a box to make it really Metal Gear. Metal Gear! But she has to rely on her mom for courage. Remember, courage, like in the picture of Kyoko, which has been like a constant with Toru. Like she'll turn to her mom for courage when she needs it. But unfortunately, even when she gets super close, like close enough to say like Kureno-san, and like he hears that, like he's like, who the hell? Like he looks out the window. Well, not the window, but he looks out of the door frame, and he doesn't see Toru because she hightails it out of there because she gets scared and runs right into trouble. Now, when I say trouble, I mean I thought it was Akito, but it wasn't, and whoever this was, Toru says, that voice, ... and then hides. And I'm thinking, like, is that Akito? That doesn't sound like Akito. Like, I know Maya Sakamoto's voice from just about anywhere. That is not Sakamoto. So I don't know I don't know who this character is. But Kureno ends up jumping in and saving Toru, right? Like, not that, like, this person finds Toru. Toru's hiding and just sort of ducks. And Kureno walks over, sees Toru, and just kind of puts his hand on her head very gently and says, hey, no, there's nobody out here. It's just me. I was just sort of getting some fresh air. And this person, like, reaches her hands out in a really similar way to Akito. I mean, like, a dead ringer, but it's clearly not because they don't show the face. Because if it was Akito, why wouldn't you just show Akito's face? So, like, that's really weird. And I swear to God, if people are spoiling who this is in the live chat, part of the reason why I'm probably not at the live chat right now, and I swear if any of you guys spoil in the comments, that's an insta ban. I don't know who this is. I have a theory just because of the hands. Like, just the way that the hands reach out, and the fact that we've seen Kureno say stuff like the family heads wanted to speak to you during the beach arc, and Akito's like, what do you mean, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, there's people ahead of Akito? I thought Akito was the head of the Soma estate. So if there's people at a higher standing, that whoever that was, that has to be who that was. You know what I mean? And the fact that the hands reach out, either it's like a mentor of Akito's, or it's like a parent or something, or like an aunt, or like some kind of family member of Akito's. That's what I have to assume. Just by the way the hands reached out. Because it's just like, it's too similar, and it kind of creeped me out a little bit. Because it's like, if Akito's this bad, how bad is that person? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, that's an uncomfortable thought, and I don't even want to dwell on it anymore. Let's move on. And Kureno does get Toru out of there, because again, even, like, and I know I said let's move on, but just think, like, I never thought about it, right? Because I never thought, like, Akito wasn't just born Akito, you know what I mean? Akito didn't just poof into existence. All of these characters have emotional baggage specifically from their parents. It would only make sense that Akito maybe had a shitty upbringing. And I have seen people say, like, listen, Akito's backstory will... Because people haven't spoiled Akito's backstory, thank you. But people have said, like, you will probably never forgive Akito for what they've done, but you may come to understand. And that's part of the reason why I'm thinking and I'm leaning more towards whoever that was being, like, a family member of Akito's or something like that. Because it's like, that would go in line with what FruBa fans have sort of hinted at to me without spoiling. And by the way, when I said like none of y'all better spoil, for the most part, I've had 1 or 2 spoilers here and there for FruBa, but for the most part, FruBa fans, best fans. Oh my god, like manga readers for FruBa are far and away the best manga readers I have ever come in contact with. Pat yourselves on the back, damn it. But yes, Kureno takes Toru away, whisks her away, and Kureno basically like says that he may turn her over to the police. He's not super sure. And I'm like, no, Kureno, no, Toru would never survive in jail. No, you can't take her there. Not that she would go to jail for that. She'd probably get like a slap on the wrist and sent back to Shigure's place. But like, yeah, I was like, no, Kureno. But she immediately says like, listen, that's fine. And I was like, the fact that Toru says like, that's cool, that's fine, whatever, call the police. But I need you to just answer this question. Do you know Uotani Arisa? And immediately Kureno's face like drops. He's like, oh my god. And like right away Toru's like, you do. I knew it, right? And I'm like, yes, girl. That intuition was correct, Toru. But Kureno says that he can't see her again. That he has no intention of seeing Uo again. But Toru begs him, like, listen, you don't have to see her right now, but please just take her contact info, okay? Like, I wrote down all her contact info. Please, just please consider taking it. I don't know if it's going to be later today, later this week, a year from now, 10 years from now. It doesn't matter. You might change your mind, and maybe one day you'll miss her. Or maybe one day you'll feel compelled to call her. Just take this number. Please, right? And I'm like, that is Toru in a nutshell. Like, just this idea of like, you might want to be happy one day. So just take this number, please. And he does he does end up taking it, as we find out later. Like Kureno does actually smile at Toru, like, which I think is huge. Like, we do see at the end of the episode Kureno holding the contact info after Toru tried to hide it. Kureno finds it and is holding on to it, right? It's like, oh, yay. Because Toru basically was like, I'll hide it here, like, just so nobody finds it. So if you ever need to find it, it's right here. And Kureno's like, you could just hand me that. Like, just Kureno ends up like just holding it at the end of the episode. But this man smiles at her. But it's like that melancholic kind of smile that Kureno has. And Kureno is another character that, like, when they were introduced, I was like, Kureno, it wasn't as intense as Hiro, and not even as intense as Momiji. And Momiji, I wasn't, like, hating Momiji when he was first introduced. I just had a bad impression of Momiji. But Kureno, right away, I was like, I just found him very mysterious. But now I find him very sad. Like, just that smile he gives is so, like, it's, like, he's hurt. You know what I mean? Like, you can physically see that he's hurt, but he's trying to smile in the face of it. And he's just, like, trying to kind of comprehend the world around him since Akito's got him in such a chokehold. And if Uo ever comes into contact with Akito, I hope that Akito says some shit to Kureno just so Uo punches Akito in their big, dumb, stupid face. It would make me so happy. But that's pretty much where we wrap up the episode. Momiji says that one day he'll hold a concert for Toru, and she says the song Birth of Wishes, which I admit I don't know. I don't know if that's a real song or not. So I was like, okay. Maybe I'll look it up after I finish recording this. I don't know. But regardless, I think maybe it's the song that Momiji was playing at the end of the episode. Maybe? I don't know. But Kyo ends up finding Toru sitting on the roof at the end of the episode. And he says, like, man, you don't sit on the roof that often. Everything okay? I mean, I could tell you were going adventuring earlier. Toru's like, huh? What? How do you know that? And Kyo's like, well, you came in covered in dirt. Like, you had dirt on your clothes, and that's not like you, so I figured you must have been doing something. And it's like the amount, like, this dude is like the Toru expert now, all of a sudden. Like, every little thing that Toru does, Kyo's like, that must mean this. And it's like, look how well he knows her. And admittedly, I think all of us know Toru really well at this point. Toru is very much an open book, but it's just sweet how much of an interest Kyo has taken in Toru. And it's like so, but here's the thing, right? It's sweet, but then this line killed me where he says, when you do find someone, I'll be there. I'll be here to help you out. And Toru starts to cry. Now listen, maybe I'm reading too far into it. Maybe my shipping heart is just going too extra right now. But when I heard that, I was like, no, Kyo, that is not what you say in this moment. That is not what she wants to hear because I think she likes you and I think you like her, so maybe don't say that shit. But he's trying to be nice. But Toru starts to cry. And I'm like, okay, my guess is Toru starts crying because she's had an emotional goddamn day. But I also think it's just the fact that he said, when you find someone, I'll be here for you to help you out, right? And Toru's like, I don't want someone. Like, and I think you know what I'm hinting at. I think Toru's heart is like, I don't want someone, I want you. Like, that's what I'm thinking. And again, I know that our group, that are good folks out there, there's some folks who are still diehard ride or die Yuki Toru fans. But to me, her crying when he said that kind of cemented her feelings. And I'm like, I think Toru just isn't aware how she feels quite yet. Because Toru has so much love in her heart that I think it's hard for her to distinguish like the different types. You know, she just has love for everybody and it's multiple different types of love. So I think she's not like aware that she has some like romantic feelings towards Kyo. But Kyo obviously is fully aware of his feelings for Toru, but he's not really willing to embrace that because he's scared about what's going to happen. Again, the whole, I'm scared that I'll hurt her by seeing her line from the episode. You can say the same thing about Kyo, where it's like, I'm scared that I'll hurt her by getting close, because ultimately maybe I'm going to get locked away. I swear that better not be how the show ends, but I don't think it will be. But like, it just seems too much. Like, where I'm like, no, even for FruBa, that'd be too much of a downer ending. I really can't see that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The episode ends with the violin and Toru talking about how even though some wishes won't come true, she's gonna keep wishing anyway. And that's the end of the episode. And that's the end of this video. Oh my god, that one went on for a while. Sorry, I had a lot of emotions. I had a lot of stuff I wanted to say this week. A lot of stuff happened this week's episode. I had to get it all out. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but damn, this episode is up there. This is probably my... I don't know if I should even say that, because I was like, this is my favorite episode since the beach arc, and I'm like, I don't know. They've all been pretty great. Season 2's been hitting something fierce, and I don't want to jump the gun or anything. And maybe I'll regret saying this later. I don't know. Maybe it's just the initial like high from finishing the episode. But I really think this year I might be voting Fruits Basket Season 2 for Best Sequel of the Year at the upcoming Kotatsu Annie Awards, which if you don't know, we do an award show at the end of every year. Me and the old Kotatsu crew. If you're new here, we do this like anime award show. And we separate like brand new show, like anime of the season is like whatever show debuted that year, and then sequel of the season is, whatever sequels came out that year. And I really think it's gonna be FruBa Season 2 for me, because each episode's been hitting hard. But with that said, everybody, I'm gonna wrap up today's video here. So if you enjoyed, don't forget to boop that up snoot and share if you care. And of course, as always, I have to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at all these people. Look at all these beautiful names. Look at these people who definitely don't want to see anything else bad happen to Momiji. And if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then be sure to check out that first link in the description to check out our Patreon page. And for less than a cup of coffee a month, you can help keep this channel afloat, and I would sincerely appreciate it. But on that note, everybody, I'm going to go take off editing. This one's gonna be a nightmare. And until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.